but Riley Cooper, I mean, like, that dude deserves a statue. I mean, like,
number one on your speed dial.
Hey, I'll tell you what, like, I mean, I didn't know until a couple days after the fact. I was like, wait a minute, is he the MVP? Or, like, we got the ultimate team?
No doubt about it.
And then Ty Floyd, when I sure got 17, and, like, stole it from him. But I was like, when has a pitcher, like, been a part of, like, 5 of the 6 wins in Omaha? I mean, what a performance.
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you for the time.
Pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Sure, I'm a little late, boys, at the spring game, obviously, as you can see. Couple of booze cruises here to do. Let's pit, cruise, grand salami to the boys, finally back on track. And I got another one coming. Don't you think I don't? And that's how we roll in Tiger Stadium.
Just watching the spring games that were on television, one thing that jumped out about your squad is your quarterback room is very talented compared to a lot of the league and a lot of the country. I wonder, is it easier to recruit that position when you have talent or when you don't have talent? Coach Kelly, we're official.
Finally,
I'm
get a
telling
chance to meet you. Thought I had to get a private audience with the Pope. There's Jordy.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Tearing up, answering the question, I thought, my God, if she gets offered this job, she's going to take it.
It's just a crazy, fun time at LSU right now. Isn't this what everybody loves?
From the boot to the east to the west coast, no matter where we at, we live. Open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show. Yeah.
Let's go! Let's go!
All right.
Big day. Big day.
Nice start.
It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you for the time. Welcome into a Sunday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, live here from our Click Here Digital campus on this Sunday evening, brought to you by our friends over at RMB Builders. Check out RMB Builders, and don't forget about RMB Builders online at rmb-builders.com. Also, you can find them on Instagram at rmbbuilders.com is where you can get them. Jump inside of the chat if you don't mind. It'll be here for about 45 minutes to an hour, getting you some recap of what happened yesterday inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. Also, our Sunday shows are brought to you by our friends over at S&L Pest Services. Shelton and the crew over at S&L Pest Services. Give them a call today, 225-262-0496, 225-262-0496, or online at slpests.com is where you can find them. All right, it was brutal yesterday inside of Bryant-Denny Stadium as LSU falls 42-28 to the Tide last night. As LSU has fallen out of the polls here, or excuse me, they dropped to number 18 in the AP Top 25 and dropped to number 19 in the coaches poll.
Might as well be 1,000.
For the sake of our conversation, they have fallen out of everything that matters in the season.
It's over.
In 2023. On Friday, we were talking about the possibility of maybe Atlanta being alive, LSU driving and picking up control of the SEC West. All of that went out the window last night as LSU fell in just putrid fashion to Alabama at 42-28. We'll start here with the defense. And, when we talk about the defense, I think that we really have to be real about what we saw last night. And what we saw again was the inability to make any adjustment in the game once again from a staff that has shown in the past that was one of the strengths of what they do. Yet here in 2023, they have not shown any ability to adjust inside of the game to things that were hurting them. Last night, Jalen Milroe, without question, played his best game as a college football player, as he was killing LSU.
That was really his best game?
The only way to see
it. Running, I guess.
I mean, from a numbers standpoint.
Yeah.
I mean, they made him seem like he was a Heisman candidate.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Michael Vick.
Last night.
Good Lord.
I mean,
what, 4 rushing touchdowns?
4 rushing touchdowns for Milroe last night. He had 20 carries for 155 yards. Alabama had 4.
Blake Sims 2.0.
Alabama had 4 rushers last night. 4. Jalen Milroe averaged 7 yards a carry, nearly 8 yards a carry. He averaged 7.8 yards a carry. Jace McClellan averaged 4.5 yards per carry. Roydell Williams had 6 carries for 56 yards. He averaged 9.5 yards per carry. 6. And Jam Miller, who carried it 4 times for 17 yards, averaged 4 yards a carry. They had 4 running backs, 4 rushers last night with at least 4 carries, average 4 yards a touch. LSU was shoved around up front. We can talk about the defensive backs, and we can talk about the new faces and the true freshmen and being down in the manpower that they were last night in the secondary, and they were. You had guys like Taviano starting for the first time as a true freshman, getting out there and playing, and had some moments where he'd like to have back, but for the most part, he and the new faces and the freshmen did not cost LSU last night in Tuscaloosa. That game was lost in the trenches. That game was lost on the line of scrimmage, and most notably on the defensive line of scrimmage for LSU, where they were just shoved off the ball 4, 5, 6 yards at a time and had no answer. They had no ability to show that they were going to make an adjustment to try and stop the rushing attack led by Jalen Milroe, who ended up carrying it 20 times on the night for 155 yards, and as we said, for the 4 touchdowns. He had a long last night of 23. But the defense, they get an opening stop, which I could not believe that they won the toss and deferred.
Loved it.
Like, people inside the stadium are like, what's
going on?
Did Bama win the toss, or did Tigers win the toss?
What the hell's going on?
I think LSU won it.
What, y'all think y'all got a defense?
And he was, this Gump sitting behind me was like, well, hell, they going to put that raggedy-ass defense out there first?
Well, I guess we're going to just spot us 7 points.
I was like, cuz, I'm with you, man. I cannot believe that they're not giving the ball to Daniels, and it worked out for him.
3 and out.
Surprisingly, they get off the field. I look at little Jay, I'm like, this could be huge.
This is why we're here.
Man,
this is why we're here.
They're about to score.
Yeah.
And then, bang, 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 Malik Neighbors over the top, and you're thinking, all right, get the defense back out there and see what happens. And then from there on, after that first drive for the defense,
they waved the white flag.
They never stopped them again. They never stopped
them
again. They had one stop where Perkins chases down Milroe on the sideline, but they get called with a horse collar that keeps the drive alive and ultimately ends in a Milroe rushing touchdown. But outside of that, they never stopped Alabama again. And as far as the secondary goes, let's say this. They didn't play as bad as we thought they were going to play going into the game. The 2 biggest pass plays that hurt LSU were just a couple of running backs out of the backfield and Milroe keeping a play alive. And finding them in open space, making a couple of guys miss, and next thing you know, they're out and moving. The tackling haunted LSU defensively last night. The inability to adjust inside the game cost LSU last night, and it was a performance by Matt House's group where you really have to sincerely start talking about what's the possibilities here? How do you improve LSU defensively where they are just
competent,
egregiously bad? I mean, it is tough to explain how bad they are. I mean, for as obnoxious as Alabama fans can be, and they can be 10 on the degree of scale, there was a few last night that I was talking to at halftime when we were in the corridor.
Well, when LSU's winning?
Waiting on, no, it's at halftime when the game was going back and forth. I mean, the score before half, you're thinking, this is huge. I mean, like LSU gets the ball back out of half, has the ability to take the lead for the first time since the opening drive, and they're right back into this thing. And, you know, one of the fans was like, man, it is so weird to see LSU this bad defensively. You know what I mean? Like, there was no disrespect. It was no talking trash. It was just in between
almost concerned.
The halves of just like going back and forth. And he was like, look, this is going to be a game. I mean, it feels like it's going to be a great game. I mean, you know, it's tied at halftime. I mean, he's like, but what is the deal with the defense? Like, how is LSU this bad defensively? And, you know, I mean, when you hear somebody that has seen LSU play and obviously pays attention to SEC football, looking at the product and wondering, like, what in the hell happened? You know, like, how is it this bad? And I think it is a fair question that you really have to start saying out loud. I don't know if you saw it today. And again, I'm not here urging, I'm not here saying that this is going to happen and saying or saying that I believe that it should happen. But I think when you're tasked with putting together a championship college football program and a side of the ball is just helpless, there's no sense of improvement. You can throw different players out there, you can throw different schemes out there, you can try different things, but I mean, ultimately, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. And, I mean, I saw today where Alex Grinch was released at USC.
Oh, God.
And it felt like it had to get that bad at Southern Cal for at least something to shake out of the tree. Like, you had to shake this thing up, right? Because, I mean, it's not supposed to look that bad. And LSU last night, it was the Ole Miss game again. I mean, it was like there is no chance they are going to stop Alabama. I mean, once you got, you know, a couple of series into the game, I mean, you were like, oh, this is going to be a bloodbath for LSU defensively. And then you flip the script over, and the amount of pressure that puts on the offense, right? Like, I mean, that puts this margin of error at nearly like microscopic of, you know, the
margins are so small.
You've got zero margin for any type of error. You can't be stopped on a series. You can't, you know, put a series together and kick a field goal or miss a field goal like LSU did last night. I mean,
can't false start.
Those types of things, the penalties, those things, if your defense is as bad as LSU's you can't screw up. I mean, like, you can't mess up. And last night when you went up against a defense who was physically, they were ready to play, right? And we can talk about the call on Jayden Daniels. And I think anytime you go to Alabama, and I'm not here to say that LSU got cheated. I'm not here to say that LSU they were going after
robbed
LSU last night. It's just you have to bake that into the cake when you go to Alabama. Like, you almost have to put that into the game plan that they're going to get a call. They might get 2 calls. Hell, they might get every call. And that's just the way it's always been. So for us to get here on Sunday, recap the LSU game, and really have some emotional draw to that. Like, we could have done that show in 08. We could have done that show in 04. We could have done that show in 14.
13.
We could have done that show in 12. I mean, like, you know, you could do that show every single year in Alabama. Was it targeting that Dallas Baker put on Jayden Daniels? By every term of the definition, that was targeting. That is why the rule was implemented. Actually, that to me is almost teaching tape. The worst targeting I have ever seen in a game was Ali Gay last year against Florida State, where he just put his head down and ran straight through Jordan Travis. I mean, it was everything that the rule was implemented to prohibit. That play last night looked almost identical. Ali Gay left his feet. He led with the crown of his helmet, and the crown of his helmet made contact under the chin strap of Jordan Travis last year. There was no questions asked on either sideline. Ali Gay was ejected out of the game immediately, and he should have been. Last night, Dallas Baker should have been... Turner should have been ejected from the game immediately. No questions asked. And look, Jayden Daniels, if they throw him out of the game and Jayden Daniels can come back in, I don't think that LSU wins the game. Like, if they get the call completely right, I don't think that it changes the course of the game where LSU now wins it. But for that call to be missed against that player in that time of the game, it's unacceptable. But I mean, you know, look, like I said, you have to, you gotta understand, going into that place, that's just how it's going to be. You know, like, we can sit here and talk about it and argue about it, and they don't get calls. They get every call. They get calls. They get calls every year. And it's going to happen when Saban's on the sideline and the game's in Tuscaloosa and all of the factors that go in it. I mean, it's inexplicable. I can't explain it. The only thing that I can explain is just it's not surprising. I mean, like, it's not surprising at all. And as far as the offense goes, I think the offense could have played better last night. You know, I mean, I know that there is not a lot of margin for error, and there were some things that the offense did, especially up front, with some false starts and some tough penalties. But I also thought that they had some drops that they normally catch. Both Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas let the ball hit the turf a little bit. And you know, Jayden Daniels, again, for as much as he plays with pressure on him, I thought that he did, again, everything he could to give LSU a chance to win that game last night. I mean, you know, the 11 carries for 163 yards and the touchdown was enormous. I mean, that drive before half, I thought that if they win the game, that could be his Heisman moment. You know, you can look back at that and, like, getting the ball right before half, striking, tying the game up, then getting it out of half, driving another score. If you can get one or two stops from your defense, you can hopefully get out of here with a win. Defense can't stop anybody. One mistake where Dallas Turner makes a great play, jumps up, puts his hand in the passing lane, bats the ball up, interception Alabama, and you knew right then this game most likely is over because you got zero confidence in LSU's defense to get any stops, not a stop at all. And you can play this game until tomorrow morning, and LSU can keep scoring every time they get the ball, but it doesn't matter because the defense can't stop. They can't stop them. And
I think the defense is a multifaceted issue, right? Like, you have to, at some point, the ship is going to sink because of how much you had to take care of the defensive backfield. When you don't have DBs, you know, that's a liability that makes you handcuffed in the sense of what defenses you can call. And we talked about it going into the game, that you knew this would be Milroe, a week off, comes in healthy, and you knew that rushing game was going to be there. That was going to be his strength. That was what he was going to lean on because Alabama, first off, doesn't want LSU to get the ball a ton, so they're trying to bleed the clock a little bit. How do you stop that? You run the ball. Like, you just don't let them get their hands on it a lot. So that third, like, the first 3 and out of the game and LSU scores was pretty much all you saw from your defense.
That was it. I mean, like, I am not a defensive,
I think the defensive backfield is such a liability that you can't really, you're so hamstrung by it. So what can you do? You're so attackable.
I get that. In the same sense, what does he do best? I mean, you could sense the game plan. If you've watched Alabama play every week, they're on TV every weekend. LSU's going to run into Alabama the first Saturday in November. If you're a real LSU, I mean, if you're a real college football fan, you're familiar
with the setting
with Alabama, right? You've seen that over the last couple of weeks, they've kind of bottled Milroe's running up. Like since that Ole Miss game, like he where they had to have him, they wanted to, kind of steal the clock, keep the ball away from this high-powered offense that's very comparable to LSU. He was running all over the place. And then you get to this game, and it was as if LSU was so unprepared or as if they had seen Milroe run for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh, wow, he can run. It was like, yeah. So on these running downs and situations, why not have somebody in there spying him that can match up with him? I mean, it was just
it's the one time you do it, you get a penalty.
Where you're like, yeah, well, you get a penalty, but you get a stop.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It looked like you had some sort of, like, it felt like, and this is why I go back to the defensive back room, you had to have Perkins coverage because you don't have any body. We talked about this off the air. Like, what if Alabama goes 5 wide? I don't know if you have 5 warm bodies. And that's what turns Perkins into almost a defensive back. So you have to use him in coverage, and you takes away the ability, which you saw last year against Bryce Young, where he can spy, lurk. Every time he would have taken off, that seemed like that would have been the recipe, but you don't have a guy that can do it. The one guy that you need to do it has to play but he has to play defensive back because you don't have any.
No, but you don't, man. Like, why
pick your poison. They picked your poison
out there that can run. Again.
Because you know what he's doing. He said it himself.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he was doing. He doesn't know as much as Harold Perkins didn't know against Alabama last year. Who was the best player on the field that neutralized the game for LSU defensively? Perkins. Why? Because all he could do was run and hit. Tell Whit Weeks to run with number 4. Wherever he goes, shadow him. Do you understand that?
You got you, coach.
Right?
Okay.
See ball, hit ball. Go play football. I mean, it's like... It's maddening, man. It's maddening. It was watching that last night, thinking you could see it like they're taking on water so early here. This is not going to work. This is not going to work. This is gonna the roof is gonna cave in on you, and next thing you know, I mean,
the roof caved in on you.
It's over, man, and. Look, the sky is not falling. The sky, it's not doom and gloom. But you had a great opportunity last night to really, do something.
Kind of steal a season.
Absolutely, put the program in a sense of a direction that was, Now we go to that discussion which we talked about last week, the what if scenario. What if LSU goes in and they don't pull it out and they don't win the game, right? Like what happens in the sense of how they respond. And I think this is going to be a huge monumental moment for Brian Kelly's early part of his program building of how they respond here, because the program has been here before. And this is something that the program has tried to counteract. Is what happens to the season if you are a failure against Alabama and you lose all of the possibility of playing for more accolades, for awards, championships, for trophies, right? And early on in Kelly's tenure, this is a very pivotal moment on what it's going to be built for the future on, right? So it is going to be very curious to see how these next few weeks are coached, managed, and led for the program after all that went in to the buildup of last week's game. And I'm not saying that this was some type of Les Miles buildup where it's a Super Bowl type feel and you have to win it or the season is over. But it is a feeling when you wake up here on a Sunday of, look, there are some dire straits as far as the roster management goes and how LSU is going to get this thing rebuilt and get it functioning at the next level, or excuse me, for the next couple of years. When you look at, last night, when you look at the personnel, when you look at the players on the field, I mean, the reality of the situation is that they are in some dire straits in some personnel issues that if they don't get it straight, I mean, it could be setbacks in the programs that are, a couple of years that it will take to overcome. Cody Boudreaux, first time in T-Town last night for a game. And I have to say the experience that LSU is behind from the fan experience, actually enjoyed the LED lights. I'm telling you, Lil J and I were there, and we were there 15 minutes before the game. More than that, probably about 45 minutes before the game. Got into the stadium. And then watched the thing till about 6 minutes left in the fourth. And I will tell you, from a in-game experience, that was the first time I have been to Tuscaloosa since the 2013 game. I went that night that J.C. Copeland.
I was there too.
Fumbled on the one, and Landon Collins almost scooped and scored it. That's the last time I was at Alabama. And they had that nerd Scott Cochran that was the weight coach at the time. He's now the special teams guy for Georgia that would yell like he does, he was pretty much like a clone of Moffitt. He was almost Moffitt Jr. And I think I love Moffitt, Tommy Moffitt. I don't mean that from Scott Cochran calling him that, but it was almost like you were watching Tommy Moffitt, the way he yelled, the way he was, and they would put him on the scoreboard in 2013. God. And have him jumping around, telling the students and telling the crowd to get hype. And I remember thinking, wow, this is terrible.
It was awful.
This is awful. And
but they loved it. It was like A&M light.
Football?
Yeah, it's like this is what gets you. This is what does it for you.
Football, the experience last night. They have mastered, in my opinion, the music band ratio, the balance of the music and the band, the DJ versus the live $1 million band from Alabama. They have mastered how to incorporate that. And why LSU has not embraced the LED lights is beyond me, because that seems like a very easy kind of turnkey in-game entertainment that is awesome. It's awesome. I mean,
if Alabama can embrace it, then your LSU fan should be able to embrace it.
Well,
it's the same of
what are you not,
old adage.
What are you not embracing? What are you against in the LED lights? And from LSU standpoint, tell those people to shut up. Who cares what they say? Because I was sitting in the middle of Gumpville last night. I mean, when I'm telling you that we were in enemy territory last night. I mean, we had infiltrated.
Still got sand in my shoes.
Deep into Bryant Denny, up in section U.
I sat next to Bryant 19. And Denny.
I mean, we were in it, son. And I mean, everybody around us, whether it was college kids, parents, grandparents,
cousins,
anybody, they were all in it. So this. Well, you got to adapt with the old crowd, screw the old crowd. Who cares about their dying money? Embrace the entertainment
for
the people that want to be there. Because I will say that I agree with Cody Boudreaux, and not that this is some huge deal, but the in-game experience last night at Bryant Denny in Tuscaloosa was worth the price of admission. Forget the football on the field. They make sure that if you go to the game, you're entertained, right? There is music, light shows, band, all types of interaction. I mean, they had an engagement on the field with a ring company that was sponsoring an engagement. They introduced the former players that were there last night. One of them being Isaiah Buggs, the former North Louisiana defensive tackle that Bama cheated their ass off to get out of LSU. Got him getting the crowd rowdy, along with Jahmyr Gibbs was there last night. I mean, it was just the in-game experience of it. I thought Alabama has definitely embraced, and LSU, without question, needs to incorporate the LED lights. I mean, like, whoever up there is saying, I don't know if it's a bad idea. Yeah, you get out. Put the LED lights in. I mean, like,
LSU does
it's mindless. I mean, like, that alone, coming in and out of timeouts, how you can, like, keep the place almost like pitch black dark with purple and gold lights bouncing off the field, and then just crank the lights back on when the game comes on. It's awesome.
Oh,
it is like an incredible like effect to the game.
Too bright. Turn those lights down.
It just, I mean, look, I know that we're here to talk about Matt House and the LSU defense and how you get it right, but I mean, I thought that was one thing that LSU was like, man, this is easy. Like, this is like the, you know how mad LSU
fans
type argument.
Yeah, you know how mad LSU fans would get if you actually installed like LED lights in the middle.
Who cares?
After the Alabama loss, or they'd be like, "This is what you're worried about?"
Right?
It's like, well, fuck, we can't make anybody happy.
And play neck.
Had a cool thing going.
Yeah.
Or let's do the Caniac giveaway again, where you see the fattest kid in the country shake his titties. That's what he needs. More canes.
Bama.
Gump.
It was so.
A time.
I'm telling you, we were.
How was the LSU atmosphere? Were they loud and proud?
Oh, early.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, like, typical LSU way. I mean, it's me and Lil J. And when I'm telling you, like, we get there almost an hour before the game. I mean, we get there about 45 minutes before the game. We walk in, see the whole thing, and we get to our seats, and like, you know, like, there is no purple, there is no gold within any eyesight. Like, I mean, we got maroon, crimson, we got white, we got everything. I mean, like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, and about 3 minutes before kickoff, after the colors are presented, after the teams run out, I mean, it's almost game time. Here comes 3 LSU fratties walking out after a day of drinking, just F you! Hey, Bama! F you!
Roll Tide what?
Go Tigers! Go Tigers! Like, anybody making eye contact. What are you looking at? What's your problem, old man? I'm like, oh my God.
Got your keys on you?
Dude. LSU comes out 3 and out. Get the ball back. Malik Neighbors
on your head.
Over the top. I mean, standing up on the bleachers.
Are you not entertained?
I mean, I don't hear y'all now, Gumps. What do you got to say now?
Can you count to 7?
And I mean, just the rest of the night, just beating them up, just going at them, dude. I mean, like, and of course we get, you know, like, kind of guilt by association,
right?
You know, like, we're kind of now included with these guys.
Yeah, and you're right?
Because after the Neighbors touchdown, I mean, like, we're in the aisle, like, chest bumping and like high fiving.
Yeah, now we're friends.
You know, like, that's what I'm talking about.
Guilty by association. Oh, it's the worst and the best. It really is. Entry territory and away games are always so much fun, but I got that feeling in the fourth quarter where I was like, I am so glad I am not there. Oh, like, I wanted to go, and then I would have been exactly where, like, your new friends were in the first quarter, where I'd have been like, oh, this is why you come to the game.
Like, I left my shaker, huh?
Uh-huh. Looks like you don't like those pom-poms too much, do you, boy? And then fourth quarter, 8 minutes, I think Jayden Daniels is hurt.
Coach, he got cracked.
He's still in the tent.
Everybody still be in the tent.
I mean,
he stayed in there the entire game.
They thought he had a broken jaw.
I thought he had a broken jaw.
I thought he had a broken neck.
Right into his jaw.
I mean,
people are bitching about him not wearing his mouthpiece correctly. Like, I don't.
He put his helmet into
mouthpiece would have saved that.
That's what I'm saying. I think he took one to the chin, Coach. Everybody's got a plan to get punched in the jaw.
I mean,
it was.
See, I thought he broke his neck. Oh, the Devin White is perfect. Man, suspended for a full first half.
One of these was targeted, one of these wasn't.
How do you look at that?
Look, he's got the crown of his helmet in his
off
neck.
Of his feet. He's off of his feet.
That'd be launching.
I mean, he
That'd be lowering the crown of the helmet.
And he
landed on him.
Pile drived him,
yeah.
right? So, I mean, it's like,
I didn't see anything.
pick one. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Tell me which one.
It did feel like a Friday Night Lights moment. It's like, I didn't see it bounce. Like, we got a clean catch. It's like, what are you looking at? The ball bounced on the turf. And I don't know, coach, keep it moving. Next snap, and you're just like, we didn't even look at this. Nobody took a second to be like, maybe we should review it. Hold on.
Even Gene was like, I think they're going to look at this.
And then, Jayden comes back on the field.
Yeah.
And you have to call a timeout because, like, this man he's dead.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt.
Like, where are you?
I think he went back into the game
and not knowing
after the medical people told him no, and I think like the medical people were like,
you have to go get him.
He can't play.
He's not.
He's not supposed to be out there.
Coach Wu was supposed to take his helmet.
He thought he was still the quarterback of LSU. Like, well, I don't even know what happened. What are y'all talking about?
Did we win?
It was like the other guy that played against Alabama that wound up in Alabama's backfield when he was on defense, and he's like, "I'm gonna go play running back." Wisconsin, yeah. He just went
through Hatch.
No, actually, it was a safety from Wisconsin. And he had just got ran over by Derrick Henry, and he turned around
to Alabama's the offensive huddle and got in the backfield like he was a running back, and they're like, "Bro, you got to get him out the game."
I would not expect him to play next week.
We got. But you got to get some.
And I'm just. This is just a Sunday guess.
Did Brian Kelly
after watching that hit last night?
Yeah.
And after watching him leaving the field, I don't.
Well,
I mean, I didn't expect him to play after. I mean, I didn't expect him to practice the week after Missouri, and he went through the entire deal on Sunday and Monday. So I mean, I could stand to be easily corrected on this, but I'm just my gut feeling.
That was bad.
Week out, like that was.
Well, Brian Kelly.
That was a shot
in the post game. Brian Kelly was saying like he didn't know the full extent of the injury.
Yeah, and I mean
that's never a good answer.
Post game press conferences are tough for in-game injury updates. I mean, unless
that room was spinning,
that like somebody's leaving the game on on a cart.
I mean,
I mean, it's tough to really say.
I mean, he was
the exact diagnosis.
At least he didn't get caught down bad like Caleb Williams.
I don't know how Caleb Williams overcomes that look. I got to be honest.
I mean,
you have
Jayden Daniels' mom was on the sidelines too. He wasn't crying.
You have to fire your defensive coordinator to bury the Caleb Williams story. Like, let's talk about this instead of what we just what.
Yeah, let's.
This man looks like he's playing flag football. Like,
let's go to South LA real quick.
Yeah, this man is. It's like the boxer that got his ass kicked, and his mama hopped in the ring. And like put him under his dress.
Coach, it's like a Saturday Night Live skit.
He laid.
Oh, don't make it. I hope they do that.
This will be a Saturday Night Live.
It's
the boo-hooing.
It's too easy.
He is gutturally
crying. He's wheezing right now.
I mean, Coach, if I am an NFL scout, if I'm a general manager, if I'm a head coach, am I putting my name on this?
It's not coming out his nose.
Yeah.
I think this is our guy, Coach.
If he does, what if they win a national championship and he does this? It's a different story.
Yes.
Or is it? Okay.
Well,
absolutely.
But see, what makes him look worse is
how hard he's crying.
Well, yeah, that makes him look bad. But last year, when Max Duggan was crying after TCU lost, he quote tweeted the video of Max Duggan crying and said "LOL." So this makes him look like even more of a punk.
He's like, you're not even crying hard enough.
Yeah.
This is how you cry.
I'll show you how to cry.
I'll show you how to cry. Where's your mom? That's
gotta find my
bad
mom
look,
real quick.
dude.
That cameraman did some nice work, though.
Yeah, good lord.
He did.
Cut to camera two.
Hurry up. Zoom.
Caleb's jumping into the stands right now, going with his mom. Get it.
Oh, he's gonna cry harder.
Zoom in. This is
30 more seconds.
Enhance. Just like the shocking part is how hard he's crying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Y'all lost 3. That was y'all third.
Y'all
loss.
been losing.
Where are we going with this, Caleb?
I'm just so tired of. And you're gonna come back.
He might.
Man.
Yeah, I got a short list of teams that can draft me.
Yeah, right. He might be coming back now.
Yeah.
I mean,
gotta get rid of the crying narrative.
Gotta shake back.
1 through 25 might be.
The real story though is because you have Florida next week, which is the first time you've played a team not named Arkansas or Ole Miss after Arkansas after an Alabama game, and now you have Florida who felt like they've sputtered a little bit, but they had a little momentum, and now you don't know if you have your quarterback because what I saw from Garrett Nussmeier, I know it was a hostile environment, new situation where he gets kind of thrust in there, but it didn't look great.
My man was cold.
Cold.
I mean, that's that. Look, I'm not.
I know. No, I'm not. I'm not. Yeah, no, I'm not casting
I'm not here to make
aspersions.
excuses,
But
by any means,
that's just a tough
It's a
spot.
tough spot.
That is a tough spot.
I mean, he
to
came in
say.
slinging it.
He did.
He did that. He
did.
did do
When
that.
I saw him throw that ball,
He loves throwing that thing.
That first play call was gutsy.
I mean, they were like, "Fuck it."
I mean, hash mark.
What does he like to do?
Opposite hash mark, out route. I mean, when he let it go, I was like, "Oh my
Oh
god,
God, this
he's
could
about
be
to get
7 the
jumped.
other way. Nope.
Nope.
But-
thing's too strong, coach.
That thing, that gun is loaded.
But he's coming. He's ready to fire.
Get ready to watch LSU throw the ball 50 times a game next
I mean,
year.
next week.
Yeah.
If he plays Saturday.
That was the other thing too about the Alabama game, where he just couldn't really get a run game going. That wasn't
I thought they
Jayden
got away
Daniels.
from
I thought
Me too.
I said the same
I
thing.
thought
I
they
asked
got
Lloyd
away
that
from
earlier. I
it.
was like, I think they got away from Diggs a little
They
too
got
soon.
away. I thought Josh Williams
Josh
was running the
Williams
ball. He was running it fantastic. He was seeing the holes. He was getting you 3, 4, 5 yards a punch. And I'm thinking, man, this is
lean on him.
absolutely.
Maybe you should play a little
this
bit
is
with
some
Alabama.
fourth
You might have
quarter-
to
this
play
is
a
some
little
fourth
keep
quarter
away.
confidence you can build because that's how the game was going to have to be won in the fourth quarter.
I think they got a little drunk on their own offensive
Yeah.
firepower after you score going into the half, get the ball, then you get the ball to start the third quarter, score again. It's like, all right, we about to,
And-
kill him,
and
kill
on
him,
that-
kill him.
on
It's
the
like we
batted
can't stop a
pass-
nosebleed.
On the batted pass, Brian Thomas was
Wide,
wide,
naked.
open.
Like he made
Wide
Kool-Aid
open.
McKinstry turn around.
Coach, the play of the game that nobody has talked about, in my opinion, the game absolutely swung on the 2nd down and 17 drop
by Mason Taylor.
If he
Peeler.
catches that ball, he's at about 15 when he's sitting back on it. He might fall.
Oh, yeah.
17.
Yeah,
and you get a first down. And that ball hits him in the gut.
hit him in the chest.
He
didn't see it.
Hits the ground, and next thing you know, you're at 3rd and 17. You pick up 6
Yep.
to Taylor on the outside. You punt.
Can
4
Bramblett
plays
kick it
later-
farther than 30 yards?
Coach,
What does he do it?
I
Like,
think
the
the same
height?
thing of Nussmeier. I think that same thing of Nussmeier for him. You know, they're like punt team. He's like, huh? I punted in.
Oh, yeah, cold over here, yeah.
Right. Like,
But
I
he
mean,
just he's
'cause
such
on
an
that
emphasis
punt
on hang time.
In particular, I mean,
He
that was
kicked it 30 yards.
8th grade line drive, 35-yard punt. I mean,
Might as well have gone for it.
exactly. I mean, I kind of thought like you might be better suited.
We almost didn't get the first down from the punt.
But
I'm not trying to. I mean,
yeah, I ain't backing on them.
but I think it's
That was a
like they're telling him to
it was
like
a swing though.
that was a swing point in the game because at that point it was turning into what we thought it was. It was kind of a punch,
Counter punch.
You know what I mean?
Counter
It's
punch,
like, look, this is what this game is going to be.
If you
Another-
don't capitalize on these,
This might have been the same drive or the drive
After.
after. But John Emery got in the game and they threw him a swing pass
Oh.
out the backfield, and the linebacker was probably 5 yards
you're
behind
about to see
him.
John do his
And
thing.
then Jayden Daniels throws it on his back hip instead of the
he
front
hits him on the
hip.
back. If he throws it in the front, it's a touchdown.
Oh, is it?
You better see
Six.
John do your
Still
dance.
running.
Yeah.
John,
still
I
right.
mean, he just wanted to, cross that white
That
line.
end zone was it was about to be entered.
I mean, it was a great play call.
It was.
For
It
sure.
was a great play
And they
call.
tried to hit him on a wheel where John Emery, like you could see him actively shift gears. He was like, you just couldn't get open. But like the offensive play calling I thought it was fine. Like
Yeah.
no
I just thought they
notes
got
on
away from
Denbrock.
the run. I thought they got away from the run a little bit too early.
They got nervous.
And, for the most part, I thought that, that was a good defensive line that they went up against. I thought Charles Turner
Struggled. I don't
struggled.
For kind of
last
no
night.
reason because
Yeah.
the offensive line wasn't playing a bad game. They only gave up 1 sack. Like I just don't. I guess he was in his own head, like calling his own snap count.
Do you what's your thoughts on the people calling for House? I don't know if he can really. I mean, what you saw last year, I felt like that people were terrified of him leaving for the NFL, and now it's fire Matt House.
Something has to be addressed
And-
with how you get players because LSU cannot fix their problems defensively just by hiring a name brand defensive coordinator. You could go name the guy. If let's say Dave Aranda loses his job at Baylor, which it's kind of trending that way. And let's say Aranda ends up back on the market. He's going to be a hot commodity for if he doesn't if he doesn't get another head coaching job, depend on what he wants to do next. If he just says, "Hey, look, I just want to go be a defensive coordinator at a championship level team," and somebody pays him $2.5 million a year, $3 million a year to be their defensive coordinator, that won't fix LSU on Saturday. If they got Dave Aranda into the building on Thursday, it wouldn't make them a championship level defense on Saturday. They need to get to a championship level with getting people in there that can develop, recognize, and evaluate talent. Because whoever is evaluating or whoever is making the call on the recruiting has swung and missed. And look, I blame a lot of that on Brian Polian and the early, but that ship has sailed, right? Like you can't look at that and say it's all his fault. I think he has a lot to do with the players that they missed on, the players and how they recruited. The communication that was coming out of the building was terrible under Polian as the recruiting coordinator. It was turning a lot of people off. But now that's done. That's gone. So whoever now is leading that message is not doing, a polarizing job, a much different job than Polian was doing, because they're still not getting the guys that they need from a recruiting standpoint, and that ultimately is the problem. Like, that is the overriding issue, right? I mean, great players make great coaches. Good players make good coaches. Bad players make bad coaches. I mean, you got to have players if you want to compete. And LSU right now just does not have, they don't have the players. Yes, they have pros. They have headline guys. But they don't have players at certain positions, most notably defensive back, and they don't have the depth at nearly every position to be in games like that. They're just not built for it. They're not built to win at the elite level yet. And last night exposed that. Last night was a clear identifier of what LSU's real problems are. Because if we're being realistic, like, Alabama's not that good.
We keep saying that and they keep winning.
Well, no. This version of Alabama, if that's the measuring stick, I mean, I was in the building last night. There are certain positions where LSU is better than them.
Yeah,
right?
I wasn't like.
You're not blown away by this. I mean, I've seen Bama up close many a year where you're like, damn.
Absolutely.
Damn.
They look like they need to be in the NFC South.
Yeah, this always feels illegal.
Right? But I mean, like, this year, like, that's why Lane Kiffin he couldn't sleep that week, because he knew, like, they were beatable.
Like,
like, this Alabama version is, if we can't get them now,
we'll never get them.
When are you going to be able to get them? And, not saying like that for LSU. I think LSU can make up ground on Alabama and get over the hump. But to see that you're that far behind this team with
the
offense that
in the
you
country.
have.
Still the best offense in the country.
Oh, there's no doubt.
I needed it to show up last night.
I did.
Well, you got a 4th and 1 you didn't get. You missed 2 field goals. Like, and they missed field goals. Like, Bama missed a couple that you thought it would come down to where
they did.
Typical LSU Alabama, the nuts get a little tight, and you miss one right, then you push another one right, and it's like, okay.
But
the 4th and 1 call was a little perturbing.
It was like Brian Thomas wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a hell of a play. He got lucky. I mean, the man wasn't even looking for the football. Yeah,
I kind of thought he threw it a little late.
He did.
But he held on to it to one click, too.
Because I think he was waiting on Malik
to clear out. Yeah.
But Malik failed. Then it was threw the timing off.
But that goes to show you the entire offensive game plan, where they were almost scared to run the football.
Yep.
Like, just 4th and 1, give it.
You didn't even see the Mason Taylor flip to
the. You never saw it.
I think they did it once.
Great opportunities to run it.
I think they were like a little like, okay, Bama.
They've already seen they're going to be ready for this.
Too much on film. That's fine. There has to be some type of
they got to run it with Malik.
Counter to that. There has to be like some type of over the top to him where that's going to squeeze everybody up and just, I mean, because that's such a beautiful play.
Yes,
and it really makes defenses constrained. It's almost like it doesn't matter if you know it's coming. Like there's a read and react to it, right? I mean,
It's a staple.
And I thought, and this is picking nits. I thought the quarterback for LSU played fantastic last night. He did everything he could for LSU to win that game. I thought he made a couple of bad reads on that RPO. I thought he gave when he should have kept, and he kept when he should have gave a couple of times. Right? And this is me. Look, you're diving in, but it's that play that I think that sets all that up. That sets that play up so well. Right, where you had everybody looking in the backfield on that, and I thought there were a couple of short yardage situations, especially that 4th and 1. Like, run it, everybody in the building knows they're getting it. All right, cool. Like they can't stop it.
Tell them to stop it.
Yeah, they couldn't stop it. So
a lot of that offense too it felt like it was all off schedule. Like that was the difference in the game when Jayden Daniels goes out because he was creating a lot think a lot of it was off script where whenever he starts running it like that, that's when you can tell he's playing against a good defense. Alabama's DBs were in there
but you could tell he was in his zone too.
Yeah, he's like, all right, I'll take off.
Like when he
was in the pocket making
when he made 32 miss, he makes the end miss, then he makes 32 miss. I was like, oh yeah, he's
a game breaker.
He made in the open field.
It looked good.
It was,
but that's when you get nervous because
and then you got the miss horse collar on him.
Yeah,
it just went. They pulled his whole nameplate. His jersey was over the shoulder pad.
And he just gets up and is like...
And he was like, all right, cool, I guess. First down.
How do you miss it? It's like, how do you miss that?
Because even Perkins was it. I know it was a horse collar, but it was so sudden.
He caught him at the front of the shoulder pad at first. And then he caught the back of it at the end.
But it was just so violent, I guess. Yeah. You're like, that has to be a penalty.
Yeah.
But Jayden Daniels got ripped down.
Such a huge spot.
Because you get a third down stop, it's 35-28. You still in
get the ball back.
Such a huge spot.
It's like the antithesis of the Bryce Young last year, where Harold Perkins makes the stop. Like that was the same play.
Except right there.
Death Valley. I don't know if you hear that whistle.
Yeah.
But you said you wanted more from the offense, but like you said, it's just their margin for error is this big slim, instead of 28 points. 5 years ago, 28 points against Alabama, LSU fans would have been crying in the streets.
But
I think 28 points.
5-year run where they didn't score but 7.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
They didn't cross the 50 in a game.
Right. You scored 28 Saturday, and it's like, oh shit, that just ain't enough. It's just never going to be enough.
28 feels like a low point total too.
Yeah.
Like there was more on the table that LSU could have scored.
Yeah.
But when Jayden Daniels goes out, you knew the curtains.
Yeah,
that was it.
Because he was
crushed yourself.
And you got to give Alabama that's the thing about Alabama that people just aren't really. Everybody keeps saying they're beatable. They are, but this year they keep winning. Mm-hmm. They're winning ugly, dirty, and that defense is nasty.
He schemed them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because they were.
You got an ace up your sleeve. Nick Saban ain't tired.
Yeah, and then
he ain't dead yet.
Once Nussmeier got in the game, it was like, all right, we know murder she wrote.
Pin your ears back.
Right.
Fellas. I started looking in the refrigerator.
Yeah, go hunt.
I
turned the game off.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest.
Coward.
I couldn't do it, dog.
And then you had to watch it again today.
Yeah, it was hurting. It just hurt to see they just kept showing Jayden in the tent. I
didn't know what he was doing.
I knew what he was doing.
Throwing up.
Probably.
Blood.
That light show.
Fucking it's unbelievable. They're like, yeah, it's just 15 yards. He killed a man.
Could have gave me 30.
LSU, you didn't see really any big plays from Alabama's wide receivers. Like Burton didn't get wild. It was more just the run game.
I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just keeping my mouth closed.
Yeah, no.
Don't know.
Because
Bill Rowe was the one thing that you knew you had to stop, and it's.
One thing I will ask: Can the LSU DB coaches or the DB coaches or linebacker coach, can they develop players or? Because I have not seen a player develop in two. Brian Kelly's been here for 2 years. And the only player that's been here for 2 years with Brian Kelly is Terrence Welch, and he didn't even see the field.
Unreal. Unreal.
So can they develop players or not?
Quincy Wiggins puts his helmet on a steel crate.
And that's it.
15 yards from the field as soon as they run out, and he goes and sits on the medical
trainer's table.
The trainer's table and just watches the game. He doesn't even stand around the coach as if he might go in.
What a bug.
It's the evaluation, the development, the not having a guy like that accessible his second year in the program, and you can't stop inside trap, inside counter, inside wham all night.
Can't
it's like,
stop.
man,
QB Reed.
What is how? Why? How? I mean, he can't get a series on just trying to wrap up, shuck a offensive lineman, and get into the right run lane. I mean, like it's tough to fathom how bad the defense is. Like it is really like tough to put into words and quantify how bad the defense is
At every level.
I mean, it was that feeling last night of watching the Ole Miss game. Like, fellas, they're not going to stop anything. Like, you can get the ball with 15 seconds left. You can get the ball with 12 minutes left. You can get the ball at the 5-yard line. You can get the ball at the 5. It don't matter. They will not be able to stop anything. And
it's so frustrating.
You can have you can have the Rams offense. You can have Burrow and 19's offense. You can have name the best offense you've ever seen. At some point,
Gotta stop.
At some point,
Gotta get a stop.
You gotta get a stop. Like, at some point, your defense has to make a play. And for LSU to be that bad on that side of the ball, it is
nauseating.
It's unreal. It's amazing how bad they are defensively.
There's a man by the name of Shevis Jackson that is coaching at.
There's so many.
I mean, he's coaching at
Marshall.
Marshall. We are Marshall.
Best defense in the Sun Belt.
There you go.
Best defense in the Sun Belt, giving up 167 passing yards a game. 13 interceptions on the season.
I love
How many
Shevis.
does LSU have?
And I know Shevis. Shevis spent some time here on this staff. And Shevis is one of those guys that he's a two-hat guy. He can recruit and he can coach. And the criteria for whoever comes in, if anybody new comes in, needs to be that. There can't just be one specialty. Whoever comes in, the majority of the crew needs to be able to recruit and develop, because that's where LSU is getting killed. Did you see Nick Saban's message to Aaron Anderson after the game?
Collusion.
Like,
it's tampering.
Isn't it? I mean, if that's not tampering, I mean, somebody tell me what is. I mean, when the opposing coach... Do we have volume on this? I mean, that's that smile like, yeah, you think I'm joking.
I'm
serious, dog.
You think I'm kidding with you.
I'll call you.
I mean...
I'll talk to you, Daddy.
That is...
I'll call Coach. What's Coach's name?
Aaron Anderson leads the league.
Bryce Brown?
Bruce Brown.
Bryce.
Is Bryce?
Bryce.
I'll call Coach Bryce.
Coach Brown.
I'll talk to him later.
I mean, Aaron Anderson
I
leads the
guarantee you this.
league.
Nick Saban would get a waiver cleared by the NCAA for a player to return to his school faster than you can blink your eyes.
He might get Jalen Cook to go play for Bama.
Football.
Yeah, need a corner. Need a wide receiver. He clearly wants one. But, I mean, Aaron Anderson leads the league in non-scrimmage yards before the snap.
Oh.
Good Lord.
He was all over the
field. He was all over the field.
Get some steps in. I know
He was all over the field last night.
Oh.
All right, we're back with you tomorrow
morning. He was running so hard, I thought he would get it sometime.
He had to get it to him.
Look at him.
I thought the same thing.
He was eating turf.
Because, I mean, you were thinking, like, by the way he lined up, like, he's going to get it. Like, he's going to get the ball.
Yeah.
All right, we appreciate you being out there. Hit that like button, share button, comment button. Tomorrow morning, your phone calls. We sit back and we listen to what your thoughts were coming out of Saturday night. Obviously, defense is going to lead the conversation. What defense, right? Is going to lead the conversation. We had some social questions.
Yep.
Come over. Jake, let's...
I got BK cuts, too,
for tomorrow.
What you got, Jake?
All right. So, first question. What changes, if any, do you see happening on this defensive staff this offseason?
This offseason, I think that there has to be discussion of major overhaul. I mean, look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not pulling or urging anybody to lose their job. Like, I mean, there's human beings and families and people that are involved here. I mean, this is some real life stuff. But you know what you sign up for, and you know that your job and career is really highlighted and talked about in the public. People know how much you make. People know what you just know all that stuff. Terms of contracts, how long, all that. It is a prove it profession, and defensively for LSU, not only has it not been proven on the field, it has not been proven in recruiting. And to me, those are fireable offenses for people. Now, whether it starts at the top and everybody goes, I don't know. But I expect some major overhaul in the offseason on the defensive side because the job is not being done. It's not getting done to what the job calls for. The job calls for you to bring in elite level players that can win championships once they're developed and once they're put on the field. And right now, they are swinging and missing in both in both categories. I mean, look, if the LSU defensive job is open, you have everybody in the country's attention. First off, because of the price tag. So everybody is going to listen if you have something to sell. What do they have to sell? I think they probably have the whole room to sell. I don't know what you look at on that side of the ball and say it's worth keeping. Really. And that's just, man, that sucks. That's the hard, cold truth of it. And those conversations are being had somewhere, right? And I mean, them being talked about on a podcast doesn't mean that it's going to happen. But ultimately, those are the people that can make that happen. They're talking about that somewhere because they have to be. Because that was last night. That had to be eye-opening. I mean, like that had to be that was the program was exposed last night.
I mean, there's no way you go back and watch that film and say, okay, we need to keep.
Yeah, or like that. Whatever the problem is fixable in house.
Yeah, no
you know what I mean?
No
like
pun intended.
There's no way you can look and say, okay, we have the answers to get this problem fixed now.
No.
Well, because
you have to look outside of the walls right now because the problems are too big.
Well, one, you don't even have the players to do it.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
that's what I'm saying.
That starts outside the building already. That's one of your
whoever
external
is
problems.
Evaluating the players to go get, and then going to get said players are either missing the guys that they're trying to get, or they're going after these players, and these players cannot play at this level. And it's just
This is the truth.
That's just the truth.
That's what it is. If you fast forward to next year, you ain't got Jayden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas.
Right.
You ain't got the number one offense in the country to bail you out.
Right.
It could get ugly.
What else we got, Jake?
Next question. This is from Trey. With Jayden Daniels and his team having 3 losses and him potentially going on concussion protocol, do you think he's completely out of the Heisman race?
Yes.
100%. Yes.
Your hair looks great on camera.
Everything came
Thanks,
to
Lloyd.
a screeching halt for LSU last night. Anything that was talked about in the postseason.
The Leonard Fournette.
Team accomplishments, SEC, possible
early.
Final Four, major bowl, to individual awards for Malik Neighbors, for Brian Thomas, for Jayden Daniels.
That's messed up.
All of that was lost.
Who won the
last night.
Blitnikoff last year?
Who won the Blitnikoff last year? Was it Jordan Addison
Was
at
it?
USC?
I think it might have been.
Yeah.
Or
It's
he
going to
won
be
it the year
Marvin
before.
Harrison.
Yeah, it's going to be Marvin Harrison this year.
Maserati Marv.
That is,
Or Keon Coleman.
I don't get that though. Malik has better stats than both
That's
of them.
not, but it's not entertaining.
And he's put it on the field better than both of them.
He had a game.
He did.
Like 10 for 171 and a touchdown.
And he had 2 drops.
2 drops.
3.
That catch he had on the sidelines. Oh my god!
How does his ankle do that?
His
I don't
ability
know.
to fix his foot to get it in bounds is
Special.
that's all you can say.
Professional
Special.
athlete. Like,
Yeah.
That's
Pro.
Oh, I can do that. No, you can't.
No.
No, you can't. No, you can't. What else we got, Jay?
Ankle flexion.
All right, next question. This is from Mike.
Flexibility.
How confident are you with Garrett Nussmeier leading the offense next week if Jayden Daniels is out?
I'm confident that they're going to throw it.
50 times.
I know that.
He's going to want to. I think they'll. I mean, I don't have any problem with Nussmeier, especially if you give him a full week to be able to get ready. I think we talked about this a little bit earlier. The way he was thrust in there, that's a non-winnable situation.
I am not judging Nussmeier off of last night.
No.
Tough situation, man.
I mean,
Threw him to the Wolves.
That is you at your job walking in with
on tax day, and it's your first day working for the IRS.
You're still got your breakfast in your hand, and the boss comes out and it's like, "Hey, bro, I need you to leave.
We don't
this
eat
meeting
here.
with our biggest client."
Yeah. What are you eating for?
And the meeting is 20 minutes started.
Yeah.
Like,
Walk in.
What? Yeah, you're in.
Here you go.
I mean, you don't want to be judged on that moment, right? I mean, even if you kill it, even if you go in there,
your head's still spinning.
Yeah, right. Like, oh my God.
I think I did it.
What else we got?
All right, this comes from Kent. How good is the defensive recruiting class coming in? Is help on the way?
Got some safety help on the way.
Yeah,
Keelan Moses is
safety and maybe corner. I can't give you a corner, but I could give you a safety. I give you 2 safeties that'll probably start next year as freshmen. But
that's LSU's specialty, turning safeties into corners.
They not. I would hope they wouldn't. With these two. You got 2 of the top safety recruits.
It's been a hell of a year.
Yeah. And if you go ahead and turn them into corners, that just won't work.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you've seen it.
Yep.
We've been in this movie before.
Yep.
I've got a question from the chat from Lloyd. Do you see Denver Harris this year?
I'm done with the Denver Harris talk.
The transfer.
I mean, if you see him,
it just goes to show how much you needed him.
I mean, if you see him at this point,
What does it matter?
You see me when you see me, dog.
See me in class.
All right, last question. This is from Mark. What is your outlook for the Florida game in Death Valley next Saturday night?
Shootout.
Another one.
Yep.
I mean, it's going to be the last team that has the ball going to win.
I mean, how can you say anything else?
Get the guns
you
out.
can't stop a nosebleed.
I'm telling you, they couldn't stop Jay's team.
Like, they can't stop my son's 6U flag team. For sure.
They are. It's unfathomable.
If they have to make adjustments,
they are
coach,
on defense. It's
going to be bad.
It is unfathomable.
Graham Mertz.
Yeah.
About to enter that Heisman talk.
Graham.
Ricky Pearsall.
Slick Rick.
Whoever's been in a slump. It's the best slump
buster around.
In the league. Can we play LSU this week?
Coach.
Can we play LSU this week?
Coach,
Jalen Milroe is walking around. He doesn't have to go to class this week.
Nothing.
He don't have to do
My man ain't throw
one
one nice pass Saturday night at all.
Didn't have to.
Grips the football weird.
Didn't have to.
He does throw the ball. Like his throwing, everything about him throwing the football does not look natural.
No, but him running the football looks
He's literally
great.
Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
He can be.
Yeah, he does. He kind of throws it like Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill joined the
Exclusive
crazy club today.
Which one?
He has 10 passing touchdowns, 10 rushing touchdowns, and 10
receiving touchdowns.
What a guy.
He
joined
threw one and caught one a day, huh?
Mm-hmm.
He joined like a club that hasn't been accessed since like 1901.
Yeah, that man had the dude had like a 2-bar face mask.
Can you play?
The guy was a mechanic too.
Yeah, he's serving the war.
Smoking cigarettes on the sideline.
He also has
What kind of engine you got in that truck?
He also has a Purple Heart.
Right. Lead commander.
A general in the Army.
All right, everybody have a good Sunday. Rest of your Sunday evening. This time change sucks.
Oh, dude, the day feels like it's taken forever.
Is it tomorrow yet? All right, have a good day. We'll be back with you tomorrow. If you're watching for the first time and have not subscribed, hit that subscription button. 7 a.m. Culotta Show, built by R&B, coming up tomorrow morning.
I'm hurt, dog.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time. It's the hottest show around, we ain't gotta flex. Call up G, we get it done, we earning our respect. Tell recruits to let us in, where they going next? Throw up the L's, now we lit, band playing neck. From the boot to the east to the west coast. No matter where we at, we live, mic'd up for show. Open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show. Yeah, Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time. Monday through Friday.